Sri Lanka received a total of 204 recommendations during the second cycle of the UPR held last November. At the adoption of the report in the working group, Sri Lanka accepted 110 recommendations, and following further examination, Sri Lanka decided to support a further 3 recommendations, bringing the total number of recommendations enjoying our support to 113. In addition, Sri Lanka has also made 19 voluntary commitments. We have consolidated our gains in resettlement. Our achievement is perhaps unparalleled given the short period in which progress was accomplished, just 3.5 years since the end of the conflict.
We have to recognize the difficulties faced by Sri Lanka after its victory against terrorism in 2009 to protect and promote human rights. The progress achieved so far outweighs the challenges, and it should be appreciated. The international community should also play its due role by acknowledging the efforts that Sri Lanka has made in the field of human rights.
Sri Lanka's second UPR cycle has once again confirmed Colombo's openness and readiness to engage in a constructive dialogue on an equal footing on the promotion and protection of human rights in the country. Sri Lanka has agreed with the majority of the recommendations made. The recommendations accepted are truly constructive and non-politicized in nature.
We are disappointed that the government rejected all UPR recommendations from states that called upon it to implement the LLRC recommendations. Further, the Sri Lankan delegation attempted to reframe Sri Lanka's human rights commitments in terms of the government's National Action Plan, which does not address the broad spectrum of recommendations put forward by the LLRC. We are also disappointed that the government rejected nearly all recommendations regarding engagement and cooperation with UN Special Procedures mandate holders. And we urge the government to expeditiously implement both the UPR and LLRC recommendations.
China calls on the international community to respect the sovereignty of Sri Lanka, to objectively look at its enormous efforts in advancing domestic reconciliation and protecting human rights, to provide constructive assistance to Sri Lanka, and to avoid interfering in its domestic affairs. We are convinced that with the common efforts of its government and people, Sri Lanka will continue making new progress in the fields of economic social development as well as human rights.
We have serious concerns about freedom of expression in Sri Lanka, given recent attacks on a number of journalists. We note that the rejection of the UK's recommendation to ensure that, quote, all citizens are able to freely express their opinions and beliefs without fear of reprisal or retribution, and to invite the Special Rapporteur on freedom of opinion and expression to visit, end quote, requires further explanation from Sri Lanka. Given Sri Lanka's statement that it stands ready to facilitate the visit of the High Commissioner for Human Rights to Sri Lanka, and that human rights defenders enjoy every protection of their rights, the UK fails to see why the government of Sri Lanka cannot accept this recommendation in full. Finally, Mr. President, we are also concerned that no justification has been given for the rejection of recommendations relating to the independence of the judiciary. The impeachment of the Chief Justice ran contrary to the clear rulings of Sri Lanka's highest courts, and the proceedings appear to contravene principles of fairness, due process, and respect for the independence of the judiciary.
The constitutional and procedural metrics involved in the impeachment of the judges of the Superior Court of Sri Lanka is not some process invented on a person-centric ad hoc manner, but rather a time-tested old process in existence for well over almost 30 years. However, presently this entire process and a ruling by a division of the Supreme Court relating to this matter have now been brought under the judicial review by a full bench of the Supreme Court. It is our hope that in near future we will be enriched with the jurisprudential findings of this bench, which in fact is tasked with the need to review the impeachment process in a holistic contemporary context.
We have never come here to this council and said that everything is fine in Sri Lanka. We have put on record the progress that has been made. We have also acknowledged very clearly that there are challenges ahead of us. We want to engage with you, but what we ask you is to be balanced, to be objective, to be impartial.